Good morning, philosophers. Today we have another sick Patrick read time, and that's fine. We're going to get through this. But please excuse the sniffling. Here we go. I would say to you, men of Athens, I am grateful, and I am your friend, but I will obey the god rather than you. And as long as I draw breath and am able, I shall not cease to practice philosophy, to exhort you, and in my usual way to point out to any one of you whom I happen to meet, good sir, you are an Athenian, a citizen of the greatest city, with the greatest reputation for both wisdom and power, and you are not ashamed of your eagerness to possess as much wealth, reputation, and honors as possible, while you do not care for nor give thought to wisdom or truth, or the best possible state of your soul. Then, if one of you disputes this and says he does care, I shall not let him go at once or leave him, but I shall question him, examine him, and test him. And if I do not think he has attained the goodness that he says he has, I shall reproach him, because he attaches little importance to the most important things and greater importance to inferior things. I shall treat in this way anyone I happen to meet, young and old, citizen and stranger, and more so the citizens, because you are more kindred to me. Be sure that this is what the god orders me to do, and I think there is no greater blessing for the city than my service to the god. For I go around doing nothing but persuading both young and old among you not to care for your body or your wealth in preference to or as strongly as for the best possible state of your soul. As I say to you, wealth does not bring about excellence, but excellence makes wealth, and everything else good for men, both individually and collectively. Now, if by saying this I corrupt the young, this advice must be harmful. But if anyone says that I give different advice, he's talking nonsense. On this point I would say to you, men of Athens, whether you believe Anytus or not, whether you acquit me or not, do so on the understanding that this is my course of action, even if I am to face death many times. Do not create a disturbance, gentlemen, but abide by my request not to cry out at what I say, but to listen, for I think it will be to your advantage to listen. And I am about to say other things at which you will perhaps cry out. By no means do this. Be sure that if you kill the sort of man I say I am, you will not harm me more than yourselves. Neither Miletus nor Anytus can harm me in any way. He could not harm me, for I do not think it is permitted that a better man be harmed by a worse. Certainly he might kill me, or perhaps banish or disenfranchise me, which he and maybe others think to be great harm, but I do not think so. I think he is doing himself much greater harm doing what he is doing now, attempting to have a man executed unjustly. Indeed, men of Athens, I am far from making a defense now on my own behalf, as might be thought, but on yours, to prevent you from wrongdoing by mistreating the god's gift to you by condemning me. For if you kill me, you will not easily find another like me for thousands of years. Man. I was attached to this city by the god, though it seems a ridiculous thing to say, as upon a great and noble horse, which was somewhat sluggish because of its size, and needed to be stirred up by a kind of gadfly. It is to fulfill some such function that I believe the god has placed me in the city. I never cease to rouse each and every one of you, to persuade and reproach you all day long, and everywhere I find myself in your company. Another such man will not easily come to be among you, gentlemen, and if you believe me, you will spare me. You might easily be annoyed with me, as people are when they are aroused from a doze, and strike out at me. If convinced by Anytus, you could easily kill me, and then you could sleep on for the rest of your days, unless the God in his care for you sent you someone else. That I am the kind of person to be a gift of the god to the city you might realize from the fact that it does not seem like human nature for me to have neglected all my own affairs, and to have tolerated this neglect now for so many years, while I was always concerned with you, approaching each one of you like a father or an elder brother to persuade you to care for virtue. Now, if I profited from this by charging a fee for my advice, there would be some sense to it. But you can see for yourselves that, for all their shameless accusations, my accusers have not been able, in their impudence, to bring forward a witness to say that I have ever received a fee, or ever asked for one. I, on the other hand, have a convincing witness that I speak the truth. My poverty. Excuse me. A little sip of morning coffee. It may seem strange that while I go around and give this advice privately and interfere in private affairs, I do not venture to go to the assembly and there advise the city. You have heard me give the reason for this in many places. I have a divine or spiritual sign which Meletus has ridiculed in his deposition. This began when I was a child. It is a voice, and wherever it speaks it turns me away from something I am about to do, but it never encourages me to do anything. This is what has prevented me from taking part in public affairs, and I think it was quite right to prevent me. Be sure, men of Athens, that if I had long ago attempted to take part in politics, I should have died long ago, and benefited neither you nor myself. Do not... That doesn't sound like anything I've said to myself when running for offices. Do not be angry with me for speaking the truth. No man will survive who genuinely opposes you or any other crowd, and prevents the occurrence of many unjust and illegal happenings in the city. A man who really fights for justice must lead a private, not a public, life, if he is to survive for even a short time. I shall give you great profits of this, not words, but what you esteem, deeds. Listen to what happened to me, that you may know that I will not yield to any man contrary to what is right, for fear of death, even if I should die at once for not yielding. These are really, really powerful words. I shall give you great proofs of this, not words, but what you esteem, deeds. Listen to what happened to me, that you may know that I will not yield to any man contrary to what is right, for fear of death, even if I should die at once for not yielding. The things I shall tell you are commonplace and smack of the law courts, but they are true. I have never held any other office in the city, but I served as a member of the council, and our tribe, Antiochus, was presiding at the time when you wanted to try, as a body, the 10 generals who had failed to pick up the survivors of the naval battle. This was illegal, as you all recognized later. I was the only member of the presiding committee to oppose your doing something contrary to the laws, and I voted against it. The orators were ready to prosecute me to take me away, and your shouts were egging them on. But I thought I should run any risk on the side of law and justice rather than join you, for fear of prison or death, when you were engaged in an unjust course. This happened when the city was still a democracy. When the oligarchy was established, the 30 summoned me to the hall, along with 4 others, and ordered us to bring Leon from Salamis, that he might be executed. They gave many such orders to many people, in order to implicate as many as possible in their guilt. Then I showed again, not in words but in action, that, if it were not rather vulgar to say so, death is something I couldn't care less about, but that my whole concern is not to do anything unjust or impious. That government, powerful as it was, did not frighten me into any wrongdoing. When we left the hall, the other 4 went to Salamis and brought in Leon, but I went home. I might have been put to death for this, had not the government fallen shortly afterwards. There are many who will witness to these events. Do you think I would have survived all these years if I were engaged in public affairs and, acting as a good man must, came to the help of justice and considered this the most important thing? Far from it, men of Athens, nor would any other man. Basically, he's saying, do you think there can be a good man in politics and have that man survive very long? That definitely holds true today, doesn't it? Throughout my life, in any public activity I may have engaged in, I'm the same man as I am in private life. I have never come to an agreement with anyone to act unjustly, neither with anyone else nor with any one of those who they slanderously say are my pupils. I have never been anyone's teacher. If anyone, young or old, desires to listen to me when I'm talking and dealing with my own concerns, I have never begrudged this to anyone, but I do not converse when I receive a fee, and not when I do not. I am equally ready to question the rich and the poor if anyone is willing to answer my questions and listen to what I say. And I cannot justly be held responsible for the good or bad conduct of these people, as I never promised to teach them anything and have not done so. If anyone says that he has learned anything from me, or that he heard anything privately that the others did not hear, be assured that he is not telling the truth. Why, then, do some people enjoy spending considerable time in my company? In my company. You have heard why, men of Athens. I have told you the whole truth. They enjoy hearing those being questioned who think they are wise but are not. And this is not unpleasant. To do this has, as I say, been enjoined upon me by the god, by means of oracles and dreams, and in every other way that a divine manifestation has ever ordered a man to do anything. This is true, gentlemen, and can easily be established. Yeah, humans definitely enjoy watching a debate, don't they? The debate videos on all of my platforms always get the most views. If I corrupt some young men and have corrupted others, then surely some of them who have grown older and realized that I gave them bad advice when they were young should now themselves come up here to accuse me and avenge themselves. If they were unwilling to do so themselves, then some of their kindred, their fathers or brothers or other relations, should recall it now if their family had been harmed by me. I see many of these present here. First, Crito, my contemporary and fellow demesman, the father of Critobulus here. Next, Lysanias of Sphetus, the father of Aeschines here. Also, Antiphon, the Cephisian, the father of Epigenes, and others whose brothers spent their time in this way. See, when you're reading, excuse me, when you're reading to yourself every day, you don't really worry about the pronunciation. Excuse me. Where was I? Nicostratus, the son of Theozotides, brother of Theodotus, and Theodotus has died so he could not influence him. Paraeus here, son of Demodocus, whose brother was Jeez, I don't even know what I'm saying. There is Adimantus, son of Ariston, brother of Plato here. Antiodorus, brother of Apollodorus here. Okay, I think we're done. I could mention many others. Thankfully, he's not going to. I could mention many others, some one of whom surely Meletus should have brought in as witness in his own speech. If he forgot to do so, then let him do it now. I will yield time if he has anything of the kind to say. You will find quite the contrary, gentlemen. These men are all ready to come to the help of the corrupter, the man who has harmed their kindred, as Meletus and Anytus say. Now those who were corrupted might well have reason to help me, but the uncorrupted, their kindred who are older men, have no reason to help me, except the right and proper one, that they know Meletus is lying and that I am telling the truth. All right, that's a good stopping point. I'm enjoying this maybe more than I thought I would. The reading part out loud. The view counts are really bad, but I think I've had more people reach out to me than on most of my other videos to say that they've been enjoying it. Please keep doing that. If you're enjoying this series, please let me know, either in a comment on the video or a private message, because it's the only feedback I really get to tell if I should continue doing this publicly or just go back to reading to myself every day. I appreciate your messages. I need the feedback. Thank you. So yesterday I got half of the things done that I had on my list to do. And I let feeling sick be an excuse for me. And so I look back on yesterday and I kind of regret the day. I know I could have done better. And so today, even though I think I'm maybe feeling worse than I was yesterday, there's a saying that I heard recently, don't know where it came from. Why can't I make it through today? Why can't I be productive today? Rather than saying, oh, how am I going to get through today feeling like crap? How am I going to get all my stuff done feeling like this? I'm going to say, why can't I be productive today? Because of a runny nose and a cough and a head cold that makes me feel a little crappy? Come on. Whether or not I feel good, whether or not I do anything today, whether or not I make this day worth it, I'm still going to be spending one of my remaining days alive. And so, why wouldn't I want to push through and make this a day that I'm proud to have spent of my remaining days? So, I am determined today to get everything done that is on my list. Because I can. Because there is nothing bad enough that should really prevent me from doing it. I can do it. Today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a good day. You guys, have a good day yourselves. Talk to you soon.